drove into Gallup with my family, and we were candidating to pastor at it was First Assembly then. And there was a Walmart bag on every bush, and there was a drunk on every corner. And I never saw a city like this city in my life. I had come from Pierre, South Dakota, which is a beautiful, beautiful city, clean city. You never saw a gum wrapper on the ground. It was just, and I told my family, I'll never move you here. Well, I'm still here. And can I tell you a little story before I get into my message? Matter of fact, I'm going to just get up here and tell you. We had a special speaker at First Assembly many years ago. I had only been pastor for a couple years in First Assembly. And Gordon Jensen was his name. He was a speaker. He's an evangelist. And a couple of the gals came in running into the church after the service and said, my grandpa got his hand caught in the fan of the old pickup, and ligaments are hanging out of his hand, and he's in emergency. Could you guys come and pray for him? And I looked at Gordon. He said, let's do it. And so we went to pray for this man. And his wife had gotten help for him. And she had walked a couple miles. And she was heavy set. And her face was flush red. And so we snuck in the back of the hospital to get in there. We got into the emergency room, and there they were, just a curtain here and a curtain there. And they had him on a gurney up against the curtain, but his wife was sitting in the middle of the floor, just sitting in a chair there, and they were waiting for help to come in. There were some really serious things that were going on, life-threatening things going on. And so we were sitting in there, and they asked me to pray for the man. And we did pray for him, but I looked at his wife, and she looked like she was in worse shape than he was. And her face was flushed. She was huffing and puffing. And I didn't know much Navajo then, very little. And I just said, Shema, I think that you need prayer first. And so we went and I laid my hands on her, and I began to pray in tongues. And I didn't notice anything different than whatever when I pray for someone. And when I was finished, then we prayed for him. We prayed together for him. And God gave him a great healing. He had ligaments hanging out of his hand, and he had no use of any of his fingers because the ligaments are what control the movement. And so Gordon says, okay, see if you can wiggle your first finger. and the guy could wiggle his finger, he could wiggle all of his fingers, ligaments still hanging out. God put new ones in there for the guy. But here's the thing. And what happened after that, this is what kept me in Gallup for 30 years, 35 years now. Shema started to talk to me in Navajo. And I told her daughter, I said, you need to tell your mom that pastor can't speak Navajo and can't understand Navajo. And she told her that, and Shema goes, no. And come to find out that when I was laying my hands on her head, I was praying in perfect Navajo. I don't have a Navajo tongue. I have a Dutch tongue. It doesn't do it right. But I was speaking in perfect Navajo, and they told me what I was praying for her. And when I discovered that I could pray in tongues in Navajo, that's when I decided, that's when God spoke to me and he says, this is where I have called you. And so that's why I have lived in Gallup all these years. And I see you guys are no different than our congregation and at All Nations Assembly God Church, because I preached to those people for 30 years, could never get them to come on time. I couldn't get them to come on time to church, and I pestered them and I bawled them out, and they still don't come on time. And I notice you are of the same nature this morning. I was wondering if I was going to preach to empty chairs this morning. But I have a message. I have a message from God